Yeah, hi there, and these comments are to someone at Quora.com. You asked a question. I wanted to jump into the conversation on this one, and the question is, how do I go from 26 to 29 or 30 in the speaking section of the TOEFL IBT? Right, so you say, I had my TOEFL exam on August 9th, 2016. I scored a 26 in speaking, in 2013, 27 in speaking in 2011. You say, I want to improve my score to 29 to 30. Can you help me out? Okay. It says by John Vincent, he got 117 on the TOEFL, so he got 30 points in the reading, he got 30 points in the listening, and he got 27 on speaking and 30 on writing. So he says, I'm unable to understand why you'd want to keep spending time already increasing a good score. I agree. 26 is already good. You say universities don't make their admission decisions solely off a TOEFL score, you know. It says if you want to keep improving, speak English whenever possible and enunciate each word clearly, no mumbling. Avoid stuttering by gathering your thoughts before you speak and reducing the pace at which you speak. So those are some of his comments. Okay, right now I'm looking at the speaking rubrics that ETS uses to grade your speaking. So I think if you want to be really specific, I'm going to exactly answer your question. So to go from 26 to 29 or 30, first of all, you have to understand this. You already got a perfect score on 4 of your speaking tasks. You got a score of 3 on 2 of your speaking tasks. That's why you got the score that you did. So you didn't get quite a perfect score, but almost a perfect score. So the first question is, looking at your score report, which of the speaking tasks did you have more trouble with? For example, did you have trouble with the academic speaking tasks, maybe speaking task number 4 and number 6? Or did you have more trouble with the first 2 independent personal experience speaking tasks? So the first strategy is to figure out which of these speaking tasks you had more trouble with, and then you want to practice those more. Right? That's it. That's really what you have to do. So instead of getting a score of 4 on just 4 of the speaking tasks, you need to get a score of 4 on all 6 of them. So what do you need to do? So in order to make the improvements, let's take a look at the general description for the independent speaking task that the TOEFL says. It says, the response fulfills the demands of the task with at most minor lapses in completeness. That means you need to completely answer all speaking tasks. For example, if an independent speaking task has 2 parts of the question, you must answer both parts. It also says, it is highly intelligible and exhibits sustained coherent discourse. Right, which means you're very easy to understand and you have a very clear, easy to follow organization to your ideas. Delivery. Generally, you have a well-paced flow, fluid expression. Your speech is very clear. You may have some minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation patterns, which do not affect overall intelligibility. Okay, let's take a look at language use. The response demonstrates effective use of grammar and vocabulary. It exhibits a fairly high degree of automaticity with good control of basic and complex structures as appropriate. Some minor or systematic errors are noticeable, but do not obscure meaning. Now, let me explain a few things. Automaticity, let me give you an example. If you go up to a native speaker and say, how many years do you have? Right? They may not understand what you're asking. But if you say, how old are you? They'll say, well, I'm 25. So you want to make sure that the expressions and the vocabulary and the grammar you use is the kind of vocabulary and grammar that native speakers use, right? So you want to avoid any of those problems. Remember, it's not just being grammatically correct, but it's using automatic type grammar and vocabulary. That's also important. Topic development. Response is sustained and sufficient to the task. It is generally well developed and coherent. Relationships between ideas are clear, or a clear progression of ideas. So it means it's easy to understand how everything is connected. Right? So if you can do those things, you'll get a score of 4 on both of your independent speaking tasks. Now let's go to integrated for a minute. Let's take a look at this. Alright, so for the integrated speaking tasks, remember you got 4. You got number 3, you have reading, listening, speaking, casual. You have speaking task number 4, reading, listening, speaking, academic. Then you have integrated speaking task number 5, which is listening, speaking, casual. And then you have number 6, which is listening, speaking, academic. Like I said before, you need to figure out by your score report which of these speaking tasks you're having the most trouble with. Which one did you get a score 3 on? Was it 2 of the independent tasks, or was it 2 of the integrated tasks, or was it 1 in both categories? So that's your job to figure that out. Okay, so if you want to get a 4 on all 4 of your speaking tasks, your integrated ones, here's what you have to do. The response fulfills the demands of the task with at most minor lapses in completeness. It exhibits intelligible, it is highly intelligible and exhibits sustained, coherent discourse. This is important. Sustained means you're not doing too many pauses. Coherent means everything is connected together really well. A response at this level is characterized by all the following. So now we're going to give a little bit more explanation into what you need to do to get a score 4. So let's talk about delivery. When we talk about delivery, we're talking about your pronunciation, how you deliver your response. Speech is generally clear, fluid, and sustained. It may include minor lapses or minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation. Pace may vary at times as the speaker attempts to recall information. Overall intelligibility remains high. So sometimes you may have some minor pacing issues as you're thinking about the ideas that you listen to in either the reading passage or the lecture. That's what it's saying. But remember, your speech is generally clear. Language use. The response demonstrates good control of basic and complex grammatical structures that allow for coherent, efficient, automatic expression of relevant ideas. Contains generally effective word choice, though some minor or systematic errors or imprecise use may be noticeable. They do not require listener effort or obscure meaning. Again, we see that automatic idea there. So again, but what we want to pay attention here is because the integrated tasks are more complicated than the independent ones, you want to make sure you have good control of both your basic and complex grammar and even vocabulary for that matter. Because you're actually paraphrasing someone else's ideas, especially when you're paraphrasing academic information. You have to have very good vocabulary, even advanced vocabulary, because you can't just repeat exactly what you're reading or what you're listening to. You want to try to create and add new meaning, not add new meaning, but you're trying to use your own vocabulary and your grammar to re-explain the information. That's the best way to say that. So it says, though some minor systematic errors or imprecise use may be noticeable, they do not require effort or obscure meaning. So that's kind of what the language use is. Topic development, what's it say? The response presents a clear progression of ideas and conveys relevant information required by... Okay, give me a quick second. So with the topic development here, as it's saying that you have to have appropriate detail, though you may have some minor errors, you might have some minor omissions, but you're not leaving out any big ideas from either the reading passage or the lecture. So your goal, to be specific, If you want to go from 26 to 29 or 30, which means you want to get a score of 4 on all of your speaking tasks, you need to make sure that you do well in the FORA category, as it describes the independent and the integrated speaking tasks. If you can do that, you will be able to reach that goal. Now, my advice, I think, as you can probably imagine, you have to reach a very high level of academic English language proficiency to reach this goal, so consider. You probably should work with a TOEFL IBT speaking specialist for about 30 days, and most of these specialists, like me, we have integrated speaking practice tests that you can do, we have independent speaking practice tests that you can do, and we will give you feedback. And you just have to be very specific. For example, if you join my online TOEFL course, you have to say, hey Michael, my score right now is 26, I want to get 30, please guide me, tell me what I need to do in my speaking to get to that highest level. So then my job, after you complete these speaking practice tests, I will tell you specifically what problems you're having with delivery, language use, and topic development, and I can even refer you to specific lessons in my online TOEFL course, which will help you get better. And that's it. All right?